look great. You look great, man.
Thanks, likewise. Thanks, man. I love your artwork back there.
Thank you, man. Actually, this is part of a private collection, so this is not my actual work. I do also do art, but
oh, you do?
This artist is pretty amazing. So yeah, I love to throw him in the back of every other interview and just like help put it out.
Yeah.
And I mean,
that's a great idea. That's awesome.
Yeah. Backgrounds are important. I love your background. Like that is the best Zoom background. I think they should have that as one of those green screen ones where you could just pop that in. You should take a picture of that. And
that
is
a great idea. That's hilarious. It's so funny because I've done so many interviews down here. This is where I sit. This is where I sit and play guitars, where I sit and do emails, where I sit and do everything. And the whole room down here, I always get comments like, can we do a tour of the room on another show? Because there's just so much stuff down here. It's pretty cool. So I dig it.
Right on, man. We're just going to go ahead and get started because I know this conversation's already getting to a point where people would love to hear.
Great.
I'm Alexander Lancaster with Meet the Artist, and I have the axe slinging, the guitar playingist dude from Topeka. Like, I can't believe, dude from Topeka, Ryan Cook. He's a guitar player for the Ace Frehley concert that's coming up here in Topeka. And he has played guitar with Gene Simmons and also known for Hair of the Dog. I was checking out that band just recently, dude. And that's some cool stuff. I love it, dude. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm doing really well, man. Thanks for having me on here.
You're welcome, man. I'm checking out your background. It's a beautiful background. Like,
thank you.
It is like that is like a museum style. Like, you're a big Kiss fan, obviously.
I am. So it's pretty heavy. It's still just, I'm still as excited about it today as I was, 3 years ago when I started working with Gene. So it's pretty awesome.
You started working with him about 3 years ago?
Yeah. 2000, I'd say it was late 2016 when it all started, the wheels started turning, and then I was out with him for a couple of years, and then we ended up with Ace. So we were basically handed over to Ace by Gene when Kiss began their farewell tour.
Right on, man. How did you get from that point? Because I mean, one of my biggest things was with my show, Nancy. Gosh, I'm forgetting her last name. I think she's your cousin,
McGee.
Nancy McGee. Yeah, she was like, you need to contact. Yeah, you need to contact him for an interview, and I'm like, well, I'll try. We'll see what happens. I was like, that's so cool. And then I was part of the leadership class, and Michelle Stubfield, she's also another cousin, huh?
Another cousin. That's right.
That's pretty awesome, man.
All over the place.
So you were born here in Topeka?
Yeah, I was.
And
absolutely, Stormont-Vale Hospital.
Right on. And so now you're playing at the Stormont-Vale Center. So when is that date?
October 16th. It's Saturday, October 16th. It's Ace Frehley. We're on tour with Alice Cooper.
Right on. And, I grew up to that. That's what I grew up to. I'm 50 years old, and I grew up to that kind of stuff, right?
Me too. Man. I graduated in 88.
Right on, 89.
So we're in the same wheelhouse. Now when the Expo Center when the Stormont-Vale Center was being built, I'm sure you remember it was the Expo Center, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I can still remember running up those stairs to concerts, going there to see concerts. And I camped out for tickets a couple times there. Went to a lot of shows there. So it's pretty cool to be able to come back and perform there rather than just going to see a show,
What was the big show you seen as a kid there?
I saw the very first concert in that facility. It was Rat. And Poison was the opening act. That was the first concert in that building.
Nice.
I saw Garth Brooks in there. I saw Kiss in there. I saw Bon Jovi and Skid Row in there.
So this is gonna be quite like, I remember being in the audience, and now I'm on stage, and that's pretty amazing. There's probably gonna be some kids that maybe this their first concert.
I hope so.
I want to go back to Topeka. You were born here, raised here. I watched the interview that you I love seeing the interviews that you've been doing. Like a lot of them are focused on guitars and the knowledge of guitars. My brother's a guitar player. I don't have the knowledge of guitars like these other guys do, so I'm not even going to pretend. But I was like impressed with the story of your first guitar. Can you tell me a little bit about how you first got started playing guitar here?
Well, this is the real, because people ask about gear and everything, and what was your first real guitar and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like your first professional guitar.
Right.
But the first guitar I ever owned was not intended for me. My mom, my mom, for whatever reason, had the idea for a little bit that she was going to learn guitar. And I was real little, really, really young. So my dad purchased an Epiphone guitar, acoustic guitar for her, Midwestern Music there in Topeka. Got it for my mom. She took a lesson or two and it didn't take. And I think the reason it didn't take was my mom and dad both worked 40-hour weeks plus my sister and I had school activities and everything. When my mom would have sat down to practice the guitar, I don't know. And that guitar sat in their closet, bedroom closet, for years. And that was my first guitar. I eventually decided I wanted to play. That's a guitar I started learning to play guitar on.
So you just picked it up and started going, hey, I want to learn how to do this.
Yeah, they got me lessons at Midwestern Music. Was the first place I got lessons.
I love this.
Everything. So it was all right there in Topeka. It was all right there.
I love, like, here in Midwestern Music, I think now it's called the Music Institute. Same place, but yeah. And how many guitar players and how many musicians in Topeka has had some kind of experience with growing with that? I just interviewed Andy McKee. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a pretty badass guitar player, world renowned. And he would definitely mention that as well. So, I mean, I think that place really has a big influence, a big part of what music is.
It really does. And, you know, most people don't know this, but the place that you're thinking of, that the Institute is now, that wasn't the original Midwestern Music Store. It was a much smaller one over near the Veterans Hospital and all that. There's some shops over there. That's where the original Midwestern, by Schlotsky's and stuff over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the original store, but I then graduated to Steam Music because they actually carried Gibsons and Marshalls. And my mind went there really quick. So that was the music store I ended up at in Topeka. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man. So like you picked up the guitar your mom had, you started playing it. And so where did it go from there? How did you like start like going, okay, I'm getting into electric? That was an acoustic guitar?
Yeah, it was acoustic guitar. And then I was such a Kiss freak. My mom and dad purchased for me a Gibson Les Paul knockoff, not a real one. Because I was still only in about 4th grade or 5th grade at that point. And who's going to go buy a super expensive rig for a kid who might not even stick with it?
Always, right?
You know, so I had a Les Paul imitation, just like Ace Frehley's. It was black. And I started taking lessons. And then when I found the right teacher, a guy named Alan Lawton, who's there in Topeka. Alan played in a lot of local bands. And then he became my teacher years later, a place called R&K Music, which was in North Topeka. And Alan just knew what I wanted to play, you know, because all those years, the teachers were teaching me stuff like Down in the Valley and, you know, Bingo was his name-o and that kind of stuff. And I wanted to learn Detroit Rock City and Cat Scratch Fever and that kind of stuff. So once I got into power chords and all that, it just took off. And once I started progressing quite a bit and got a lot better, my folks did purchase a real Gibson Les Paul custom for me right there at Steam. And man, once I got that guitar, it was just an obsession. I had that guitar with me everywhere. And all I did was come home and play guitar. That was it. It's like today, like I'm doing now. That's
pretty awesome. Now you're living in Nashville. You've been kicking butt over there and just really, tell us a little bit about what's going on with your life over there real quick.
Yeah. You know, I've been in Nashville. I moved here. I was in Los Angeles for 12 years when I had a record deal. And I loved LA. I still do love Los Angeles. But then I got moved back here for work reasons and what's going on. And I've been playing this whole time. Then what happened? I'll just fast forward through it. Like I said, late 2016, Gene contacted me about putting together a band for his solo tour, which I was happy to do with a couple more Nashville guys. And then we toured with him for a couple of years. And then we went to Australia, and Ace Frehley was the opener. And rather than take his band, Gene asked Ace if he could use us. Hey, can I borrow your band for that show?
Wow.
And Gene said, it's really not up to me. I'm okay with it, but you got to ask Ryan. And, I said, of course, we'd love to do it. So we did 2 shows a night in Australia. We played with Ace, opening for Gene, went and changed clothes, put on dry clothes, went out and played with Gene. And we did that in every city in Australia. And it was just as the Gene tour was winding down, he was getting ready to join Kiss for the farewell tour. And Ace was like, I think I'm going to replace my band with these guys. Do you think they'll do it? And Gene said again, you got to ask Ryan. And I said, with your blessing, we would love to do it. He goes, I'm out with Kiss for the next 2 years. This is perfect. So, and then when, here we are still with Ace today, and we're going to be coming to Topeka. So it's going to be great.
No, that is great, man. I'm glad you're going to be coming back for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to rewind a little bit and talk a little bit more about your youth, because I think that, in Topeka, especially, the conversations a lot are that you can never do anything from Topeka. You'll never be able to make it, there is a lot of negative, but I also get to see the positive and the beautifulness of the artists that actually do something with their art and still able to come up, so I want to be able to tell that story a little bit about what was big and important in your youth. I know the guitar being in the closet was the big part first, and then actually getting an electric guitar was the next step. But what was some of the key steps that took place?
Well, I want to start out by saying everything that you just mentioned about it being difficult, and just because of a lack of the music industry there. And when I say music industry, I know there are plenty of super talented people that play music there. I know that. What I mean by lack of industry, I mean the real cogs and wheels and nuts and bolts, like your music labels and your music publishers and your record labels and your public. It's not there. So that does make it harder.
Yeah.
Right. But something else I want to say about being a kid. So that was one thing I want to say. I started in that movie. Something about being a kid, though, and guitar. You mentioned that you're 50. Yeah. I'm 51. Growing up as a 70s kid, I had a really big imagination. And the imagination wasn't just about Kiss and Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith. It was about Planet of the Apes and Charlie's Angels and Rocky and Evel Knievel and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I had a really big imagination, and all the things I just mentioned that were pop culture were available to every kid in every city in the United States if you had a TV. That's right?
Yeah.
And I had all that kind of stuff. And I never really knew I wanted to be in a band, like for real, until I was 13 when I saw Kiss. And that pretty much changed everything. So then you go, okay, I'm in Topeka, Kansas, the Midwest, the heartland, the kind of thing. And I read about, Max's Kansas City and the Roxy and the Whiskey and all these kind of things in New York and LA, but I had access to those. So my window to the world was Circus Magazine, Cream Magazine, Hip Parader Magazine.
Yes.
And Billboard when I could find it. It was hard to find Billboard magazine as a kid when you're in Topeka. It's not like City News. It's not like City News carried Billboard. There just was no one that would buy it besides me and maybe one other guy. So, point being,
we grew up on those magazines. I mean, tearing out pages and hanging them on our wall. That was our.
I mean, look at the shirt I'm wearing today. I mean, this is like.
Yes.
But
exactly.
The point being now was. I just kept trying to find, leaving grade school and getting into the junior highs when you start meeting a lot more people from different schools. And that's when I met other people who played drums or other people who wanted to play guitar. And it was literally always me putting the band together. Yeah. It's like, oh, you play guitar? Oh, I want to play something with you. Oh, you play drums? I want to play something with you. And all I did was sit and learn cover songs in my room and then try to find people to jam with.
Yeah.
And I don't come to Topeka a lot anymore, but I do know a lot of places that existed when I grew up there. There was tons of live music.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like there were bars like Sneakers and Magoo's and the Battle of the Bands in the parks and at the Ag Center and all that kind of stuff. And my high school had a lot of metal bands, a lot of hard rock bands.
Topeka is a great metal scene whenever you really dig into it, for real. There's a lot of people that are doing some amazing stuff with metal still, but even when you look back in the history, it's like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, the thing was, it was just finding people with similar interests and playing with anybody and then putting a band together. And then once I did that with guys from high school, that just kept fanning the flames of me knowing that I eventually was going to, I wanted to leave there because I knew everything that I wanted was somewhere else and I had to go get it.
Yeah. But you definitely use your leadership skills.
Yeah.
Definitely, like putting bands together,
absolutely.
That kind of stuff. That was important.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, just like you would imagine, everybody that gets in a band when you're a kid, most of the guys, 1 out of the 4 guys in each band is really going to take it seriously and want to be a lifer. And then the other guys just kind of lose interest or they go to college which is all great.
Yeah.
But, you have to really, your stick-to-itiveness, for lack of a better word, has to be at a pretty high level.
Yeah. No matter what. I mean, some of the other guys may want to quit. You just keep going.
Yeah. Some of the guys want to go work at a bank or they want to be a doctor or they want to move to another city to start a construction company or do whatever, which is all great. You know what I mean? And the thing was just being in Topeka, the people that I knew that I had played with did in fact lose interest in other stuff. So I had to leave and go find other people that, and I did my homework. I gravitated to the cities that I knew where the scene that I was looking for existed. And that's what really just changed everything.
Yeah, it was taking those steps and bringing it. Yeah. So what happened? You leave here, you could do it. You put the bands together. And so when you just went to LA and put a band together, or what happened there?
That's kind of like it. I made a couple pit stops on the way. I left when I was 20 and I went to school in Florida, in Winter Park, Florida, which is a suburb of Orlando. And I went to a school called Full Sail that teaches audio engineering, tour production, music business, the whole deal.
Yeah.
I did that, got my associate's degree. I took an accelerated course. I was in school every day and I went through it. I got my degree, left when school was done, came to Nashville. I don't know why I picked Nashville over LA first. I just did. And I got
our city, right?
Yeah, I got I got inserted directly in the middle of the music business. My first job was interning at a record label. And then they hired me 2 weeks later to work in the mail room. And then 3 months later, I got hired by a publishing company, which started my whole background and learning of music publishing. So I was here for about 1.5 years, and then I got moved to LA. And then I was there for, like I said, 12 years. And that's when everything happened. That's when I got the record deal. That's when I went on tour. That's when it all went down. So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, sounds like it, man. What's one of the exciting moments that you could tell us about that when you first got there and things started happening where you got a band together?
Yeah, the band already existed. And just going there was the most exciting part because I was in Nashville at EMI Music Publishing and I was the tape copy guy there. And in the evenings, they would let me go in the studio in the off hours and record down there. And when I was there, I was just doing the demos. I probably had 3 or 4, not many. A songwriter producer came to town from LA named Desmond Child. Yeah. And Desmond, I was a huge fan of because he had hits with Kiss, Aerosmith, Bon Jovi, Alice Cooper, Joan Jett. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the name from back then. Really. Yeah.
Well, he heard me singing. He heard a demo and he's like, I have a band in LA that is looking for a singer and you would be perfect.
So that's what I noticed about Hair of the Dog is that were you playing guitar, or were you just singing at that time?
Playing guitar and singing always. It was
Both
two
of it.
guitar, bass, drum, and I was
Uh-huh.
the guitarist and singer in the band.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
yeah, it was great. We were just, man, we were a straight ahead hard rock band.
Yeah, I definitely checked
And
it out. I've listened to the band.
oh, thanks.
I have another show on this channel called Metal Mondays, and
Oh, no way.
I plan on playing one of your Hair of the Dog songs. I was checking out. I
Oh
love it.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
We just released the retrospective, 180 gram double LP gatefold. It's a great retrospective of the band of all three records.
Really? Where can we
And
find that?
it's just great. You can get it at linsleyrecords.com.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
it's really good. It's been selling really well. I'm happy to see a resurgence in it. And
Yeah.
but man, we were just a really fun straight ahead rock band. The timing wasn't the best because when we came out, what we were doing was really uncool.
I
It was because it was
it started
grunge.
being a little bit time more of a grunge style. I remember that. Yeah, there were some
So
of
the
us
fact
that were
that
still
we
like rebelling against grunge, though. We
so the
still
fact
wanted
that
our metal music.
yeah, and it was just a hard rock band, and we were still able to succeed and make a living doing it, which I was real proud of. But yeah, the timing was a little off because getting there and getting the band right and getting the songs right, stuff like that takes a while.
For sure.
So our first record didn't come out till '96.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was good. It was good
How
stuff.
many records did y'all put out?
Three.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like I said, the retrospective came out just last year. And it's available in all the formats too. It's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Amazon, everything.
Cool. Yeah, I know. I looked through some Spotify and looked through YouTube and found some Hair of the Dog, and was
Cool.
I didn't really know exactly what I wanted, what I should listen to, so I just kind of like went through like a couple of the albums and found some songs that I loved, and I don't know if they just are like they're perfect for today, and maybe there wasn't a big hit back then, but I think they're perfect for today. So
awesome.
It's a great idea to do that in retrospect. I think that's awesome because we all go back to the metal music that we grew up on. It was like, and try to discover some stuff that we missed. I do.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly.
That's a great idea, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, cool.
Loving it. So you'll be here in Topeka. You got any plans when you get here?
You know what?
Get to
that's
visit.
That's something I'm gonna have to address at one point. So here's the way it goes. I leave in 2 weeks from tomorrow for New Jersey, and we're gonna go rehearse with Ace for a few days before the tour starts because Ace lives in Jersey. So we're gonna go to the studio there and rehearse. The first show is in New Hampshire on September 18th, right?
Yeah.
So the tour starts there. We'll come through Topeka and play on October 16th, which is going to be great.
Yeah.
Tour ends in Tupelo, Mississippi on October 23rd. That's the first leg. So here's the thing. So in my mind, what I would love to do is come home, be able to see everybody and visit and have a great time and catch up for whatever little time we have.
For sure.
The reality of the thing is honestly, I probably won't get to see anybody because I know that you've been keeping up with what's going on with COVID and everything.
For sure. Yeah.
This is a Live Nation tour, the promoter, right? We have a policy that's been told to all the band members and the crew. That includes Ace and Alice. All the band members and the crew members, we're pretty much on lockdown. So me coming into town and being able to have a couple of high school buddies and my family backstage to say hello is not going to happen.
Yeah. Try to keep you safe.
Well, the thing is, and we even have a CDC COVID compliant officer traveling on the tour.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
But it's a Live Nation thing. We're going to be
He's a lucky guy.
Yeah, we're going to be tested 3 times a week. Ace and Alice are going to get tested every day.
Yeah.
And they're just doing the protocol is that they want us to stay away as much as we can. Now, I do understand that that's a drag, and I'm going to agree with everybody that's a drag for me too. It makes me sad. But the alternative is to not go on tour at all, and there are no concerts.
Yeah.
So we have to abide by those rules if we want to be on
sure.
this tour. You know, I know Live Nation's doing a lot of things now to where you have to show proof of vaccination or negative test 72 hours prior. And Live Nation being such a big conglomerate that they are, all the bands are having to follow that now. So that's the way that show will be in Topeka. If anything changes between now and then and I can visit with everybody, man, I would love that.
Hey, you know, I appreciate that you're going through that, or that's the process, because that is definitely helping curve the numbers down, and that's what we need to do. I mean, just to be able to celebrate and be at a live concert this year is pretty awesome compared to last year where there was nothing happening, you know. So
you know, we haven't toured since December 2019.
Yeah.
So I'm dying to get out there. And like I said, you know, I just hope everybody looks out and realizes, like, Guns N' Roses is out there right now. Foo Fighters are out there right now. Black Crowes are out there right now. Kiss are out. There's a lot of big tours that are making it happen and doing it, but they're following a protocol that has to be, you know, in place right now. So, but I'm telling you, I'm just beyond excited to be able to play in Topeka. It's the last show that I went to. There was Skid Row and Bon Jovi when it was still called the Expo Center, and then I moved away. So that's the last time I was in there. I hear it's newly renovated and everything.
It is, and it looks really good, man. It does. I got to do a little tour of it not too long ago.
Oh, good.
It's a really awesome place. It really does look good.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah, they got it going on, man.
Good.
You'll be excited to see it and the changes.
I am. I'm really looking forward to it.
Man, the fact that you're coming back to your hometown and being able to play and being able to play with your heroes, man. I mean, that's
absolutely
really freaking awesome, is that you're a kid from Topeka who grew up to be able to play and perform on big stages with his heroes. That is pretty awesome. So you just mentioned Alice Cooper. Have you met Alice yet?
Oh yeah. I opened for Alice when I was in Hair of the Dog.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've years and years ago, my first shows with him were in the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah. And I saw him as a kid before that, like at Kemper Arena, Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. So I'd seen a few Cooper shows, you know, and I saw him in Los Angeles a handful of times when I lived there. So, you know.
So I'm going to ask the stupid question, bro.
Sure.
So the first time that you met Alice, were you like, I'm not worthy?
No, I should have. That's great.
Little Wayne's World thing.
Yeah, I love Wayne's World. I love it. He is the nicest guy, and his band are a really good group of people, and we're just so psyched to go out with him.
So what's a day like for you, man? What's an average day like for you living in Nashville, Tennessee?
In Nashville.
Yeah,
well,
man.
I believe it or not, I'm an early riser. I get up, I go running. I check all my email, do whatever business I have to take care of. I usually come down then and learn whatever music I have to work on or put together for whatever's coming up. Then I usually do Zooms, a lot of Zooms with radio stations and, you know, podcasts and shows and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Then I usually go running again. and then
gotta run that out.
Then, and then it's just, you know, I try to chill out in the evening if I don't have anything work-wise going on. But, you know, I don't go out a lot. I don't go out a lot. This room that you're seeing me in, I'm down here working a lot, and I don't really consider it work. It's just playing guitar and just getting ready for whatever I have coming up. That's what goes on all the time here, especially lately, especially since we're gearing up to leave in 2 weeks. My to-do list, and yes, I do still make lists. Every day is packed with stuff until the day I leave. So we're thrilled to be, you know, getting things going.
So you said your to-do list, that you still make lists.
I do.
So like, what kind of things end up on your list other than, you know, of course, podcast and running? Well,
lately it's all been sorting out all the different lists of stuff I have to take with me on the tour. Like there's the wardrobe case list, there's the gear list, there's the accessories list, there's the what do I have to get take care of what details do I have to take care of since I'm going to be gone for 6 weeks?
Uh-huh.
Like, what do I have to put in place to get taken care of? Who's gonna watch the cat on this day?
Nice. No,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, man.
It's nothing sexy, man. It's
You're
just
super.
boring.
You're doing some superstar stuff, but you're a normal guy, man. I mean, I could tell that from the other interviews. I could tell that from our conversation as well.
Oh,
Just
thanks.
for my radio people that can't see the room I'm looking at right now, that is an amazing, like, I would probably not want to leave that room very much either. I could see, I don't know, 6 or 7 guitars like right behind your shoulder.
Oh yeah,
All kinds of Kiss concert,
you
Kiss
see it's all basically
memorabilia.
Yeah, and you know,
yeah,
it's
super
pretty
cool.
Great down here. It's basically the room I've had since I was a little kid. It's just bigger with nicer stuff in it now.
Yeah, have you had a lot of that stuff? Have you had a lot of that stuff since you were a kid, or
a lot of what? Bad stuff?
Have you had a lot of your stuff on the wall?
Oh yeah, like this right here. See that?
Yeah, I remember that poster.
That's an original. That's the original from 1977.
Dude, that's
and I got
awesome.
it at Mother Earth Records.
No doubt. That is awesome, man.
And like I said, the thing is, it's a
gold record behind you too.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, that's
2 of them.
Grand Funk Railroad.
Nice.
Chris Christopherson's, me and Bobby McGee over there, and these were gifts that were given to me years ago. I've got have my favorite thing is a Led Zeppelin 4 Platinum that was awarded to John Bonham.
Oh man, that's awesome.
That was given to me by a radio promotions guy who was a lifelong friend of mine. He's a lot older than me, but
you could tell people value you, man. That's
that's there, man. Thanks. But no, everything down here now, it's just like my room when I was little, but now instead of duct tape and thumbtacks, everything is framed nicely, and I have nice furniture, and I've got a good stuff. So it's a lot different, you know.
I hear you.
But
the
idea is the same. The idea is the same.
I hear that, man. Who was some of your influences growing up whenever you're, playing guitar? I mean, I know obviously Ace Frehley.
Yeah. Paul Stanley. Angus Young.
Yeah.
Malcolm Young, honestly, was such a big deal
to
me because he was just so good and so great, but was such a in the shadows kind of guy. I mean, he wrote everything. He's just such a genius. But the thing was, everybody usually, not everybody, but usually in the scheme of learning an instrument, usually everybody learns to play rhythm guitar before they play lead. And I always gravitated towards Malcolm because I could easily replicate what he was doing before I could replicate what Angus was doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So like Rudy Schenker from the Scorpions, I was always in love with. But man, one of my favorite is David Lee Roth.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, we all love Van Halen, and I've got Van Halen stories for years about living in Los Angeles. But man, just the whole David Lee Roth thing was a whole nother level for me. And I saw the original Van Halen lineup 3 times.
Nice.
And they were all at Kemper Arena.
Wow.
I saw the Hide Your Sheep tour, and I saw 1984 both nights back to back.
Cool.
So I got to see that lineup. And then I ended up touring with Dave too.
You did?
Which was a whole other story. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go into it. Toured with Dave.
Yeah.
I always thought Dave was the coolest in Van Halen. No offense to any of the other members, but I always thought
they're all great guys.
Yeah. I was always like my favorite. My brother, being a guitar player, he loved Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
He'd always encourage me to try to, my name's Alex Van Halen. Play drums, dude.
Okay.
No, that's not going to work. Those kind of things. But yeah, those were always definitely references. And I just love the way Dave was always just such a showman, And I think
he was the Toastmaster General.
Yeah.
He was the, he was a ringleader. It was Barnum and Bailey. It was so much stuff. He had so much charisma. Just the way that guy could work an arena.
Yeah.
But then we ended up, Hair the Dog ended up getting a tour with him and do that kind of thing. I used to go to Vegas with him and just hang out and have a good time and all that stuff, and because he lived just down in Pasadena and I was in Studio City. I had a mutual friend who was a photographer that introduced us and everything. And just good times, man. But Ben, he was a huge influence. Steven Tyler, I loved. Zeppelin, I was just a freak about. Nugent, all the 70s rock stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I see a lot of people that are like that are rockers and they start getting into our ages and maybe they kind of start backing up and doing not backing up, maybe just growing in a different direction. And a lot of times it's blues or country. Yep. For some reason, I'm not picking that up on you, man. You seem like you're always going to be a rocker.
You know what? I'm always first going to be a rocker, but all the stuff you mentioned, I just absolutely love. Like 70s country, I'm a fanatic about. Blues stuff, I absolutely love. Buddy Guy's Manager lives 2 doors down from me.
Awesome, yeah.
Just 2 doors down. I love blues. What people don't expect at all is I'm a big classical freak.
Really?
Yeah, if you get in my car, the only thing that's ever on is classical music.
Right on.
It's a trip, I know, but I'll always be a rocker at heart, first and foremost. It's my favorite.
I definitely have a friend that's similar to that he plays in heavy bands and you get in this car and it's like, what are we listening to? Did you put it on the wrong channel by accident or what?
It kind of just relaxing and chills me out, and I love it.
You see the fine art of music in all of those genres, country, blues, and classical.
I mean, I love Duran Duran.
Yeah.
I do.
Right
I like Katy Perry. I love Michael Jackson. I love the 70s funk, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh yeah.
And the Isley Brothers and Commodores and Rick James, all that. Loved it.
What's 2 of your favorite songs? If you could pop 2 out of your head, I don't know if you could do that, but maybe your favorite today.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. It's gonna have to be today because it changes every day.
Yeah, I'm with you. I understand that one.
Let's see. What would be my favorite today? I've been on a Foreigner kick again lately. Okay. So when I've been running, I've been listening to the 70s Foreigner stuff like Hot Blooded, Feels Like the First Time, Cold as Ice, Blue Morning, Blue Day. Yeah. I love all that. So I know that's more than one song, but lately it's been Foreigner and who else? Oh, just a couple days ago, I was on a Rick Springfield kick.
Nice.
And man, I don't know if you've done it in a while, but go listen to that greatest hits sometime.
I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, that's what I grew up on. Really. I mean, I remember the first time I was introduced to rock and roll, my uncle Alex was like, you're going to have to hear this band. It was Kiss. Yeah. Then after that, it was like Rick Springfield and like Foreigner and Aerosmith and like those kind of bands. So
Deep Purple.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
They just made such great stuff. So, man, like I said, it changes every day, but today would probably be a Foreigner song and a Rick Springfield song.
Right on.
So
I'm gonna play 2 songs after our interview. After the interview on the radio, we're gonna play 2 songs, and I'll just choose 2 out of those. Is that cool?
Great. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love that. So
again, like I just want to is there advice that you give the kids in Topeka, the youth, the people that are trying to grow and go, I don't want to give up, but everything seems like I should just go get a job at such and such, and put away my guitar and put away this because it'll never happen. What can you say to them?
I want to tell them that I starred in that movie. So
it turned out good.
Yeah. See, it did. And the thing is also is, I know what it's like to live there, and I still have family there, and I know what it's like to grow up there because I did it, and I know the pros and cons list about, okay, I want to be in the music business, I want to be in a band, and you do the pros and cons list. The con side has a lot more stuff on it than the pros of living in Topeka. So all that stuff feels like it's stacked against you. It isn't, because the reason being is because now, to sound like the old guy, things are so much different now for a young kid than they were when I was a young kid, meaning the access that someone in the Midwest has to the rest of the world now. You don't have to just wait for a magazine to come out to see what someone's doing. You can go on the internet and do a lot of research about the music business or record labels or anything. You can go on YouTube and you can literally have a guitar lesson every hour of the day if you really want to learn how to do something, as opposed to when I had to take a record needle and move it and listen to it and have to listen to it 10 times before I figured out what they were doing. Now on YouTube, there's some great guy that's doing it right in front of you and breaks it down for you and shows you on your own little TV show almost.
Yeah.
You have those advantages already, but more than anything is like, try to be nice to people in the process. If someone doesn't dig what you're doing, I'm not saying be a doormat, but just know that people are going to have different opinions of what you should do. And if in your heart of hearts you feel like you should do it without hurting anybody else or anything, then it's okay to go for it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing was, you know, I fortunately grew up around a pretty small group of people, my family, who basically were like, you can leave here and go try this somewhere else. Just because that's not here, go to where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
And I was real lucky like that. I know a lot of people don't have
that kind of
a family that supports something in this line of work and everything, and that's okay. It really is. But if your gut tells you to do it and you feel like you need to give it more than the old college try, it's like, it's okay to do it. And it's okay to fall on your butt.
Yeah.
Because
that's the best way to learn. I mean, I
fell on my butt a lot.
If you haven't fell on your butt, you haven't tried hard enough. That's
Yeah.
what I say for real. Like,
and the biggest thing also is if you try something that doesn't work out, it's hard to step outside of yourself, especially when you're young, but try and look at it and go, well, what did I do why didn't it work? Did I not practice enough, or did I do, it's hard, but it's doable.
Sounds like you're describing taking leadership in your own life. And like whenever everybody else tells you no, if you feel like it's what you want to do, you should go for it and do it.
Absolutely.
And use the resources that are available. And there are plenty of resources nowadays that people could pick through. And I mean, even just getting advice from a dude like you, man, who's actually doing it and living that dream and playing with his heroes, this kind of stuff wasn't available when we was kids.
It wasn't. And like I said, it's not, the gift and the opportunity are not lost on me. I'm very aware of how cool it is that I get to do what I do. And I'm grateful for it all the time.
No, you seem like it too, man. You're a humble dude. And I appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with me, bro.
Yeah, I'm happy to meet you. And this is great. Thanks for having me on here. And, I really do hope that when I'm in Topeka in a month that I get to see you.
Well, dude, you might just see me in the audience.
That's what I mean.
At least just see me there.
I hope I do, man. That would be awesome. And if anything changes between now and then, who knows? It just depends on what the rules are that day. If I could see friends and family, I would love it. If I don't want anybody to take it personal. It's not you, it's COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. And to keep these great things happening, we have to follow under these guidelines. And that's just the way it is, really. We need to.
And like I said, because the alternative is if I don't, there's no tour.
Yeah,
there's no show for anybody. So I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, stick with it, brother. You're doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see you in Topeka. And
October 16th.
October 16th at the Stormont Vale Event Center.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome, man.
It will be. And it was really nice meeting you, man. Thanks for having me and everybody in Topeka. I absolutely think about you guys all the time. And I do love it there. It's my home.
Yes. Yeah, man. We know. The love goes right back to you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you again, man.
Anytime.
Seems that's our time, I think, unless there's anything else you want to add to it.
Nope. Just like I said, I love Topeka and I'm happy to see you.
All right, man.
All
right. That's our time. I'm Alexander Lancaster with this badass axe slinging, guitar playing Ryan Cook from Topeka.
Good to see you. Thank you.
We are out.
All right.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.